Hi there, it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. If you would like any of the products that I use in this video, they are all linked below, and if you use the host code, you also get to share in the host rewards, which is always good fun because you get free stuff. I get to choose it, but you get to have it. So, today is Simple Stamping Saturday, and I'm using this stamp set, the Hoot Hoot Hooray stamp set from the beginner brochure. This is aimed at beginners, absolutely. It's very easy to get into. It's not masses and masses and masses of pages that just terrify you. There are some really lovely little project kits that Stampin' Up have put together that will be able to I'll fall over my words, which means you'll be able to make the projects that are shown. Now, I have taken this set and I've changed it up a little. For Simple Stamping Saturday, I always start with a note card and envelope, and I am, but it's a different note card and envelope this time. So this time I'm actually using these, which are featured here, but they are in the annual catalogue. They are 20 cards, and they're 5 each of 4 colours. And they are the usual size of 5 by 3.5 inches. So they're a great size, but you have got the colour combination. You get 20 cards and 20 envelopes, so really lovely to be able to play with those. So I'm using the Happy Birthday stamp, and I'll show you the project. Well, I'll show you these first. So these are the envelopes and note cards. So you get blue, pink, green, and coral. And they're actually balmy blue. It says pale pink. I think it's pretty close to Blushing Bride, and I'll show you why in a minute. Old Olive and Terracotta Tile. And then these are the matching cards, which are so pretty. And they've got this lovely scallop bit, and they've got scallops on the envelopes. So it's just taking the standard note card and envelope and just stepping it up a bit. You can do some fantastic things with these, just highlighting the scallop by putting another piece of card. This is just a random piece of card. You can put a piece of card behind there so that you show that that's scalloped. So all sorts of things you can do. I'm going to just use them very simply. This is the card that I'm making, and then I've also stamped the envelope, or at least the envelope flap, because I always do when it's a simple stamping card. I am going to use the same colour because I've smudged that one. That was silly. I knew there was one I'd smudged, and that was obviously the one I had. So we'll use one of the note cards and envelopes, and I'm going to show you how to make this, and then I'll show you how I've stepped it up. I'm using as I said, the Happy Birthday and the cupcake stamp. I'm going to use Memento ink and watercolour pencils. Now I'm going to use the number 2 collection. We've had one collection in the catalogue for a while, and then we now have the number 2 collection, and I've got one missing. I've got one missing. Let me see which one I have missing, because I have one missing. There are 10 in the second collection. So let me find those. They are on page 179 of the annual catalogue. So it's this collection that I'm using. So let me just see which one I've got missing. I've got Balmy Blue, which is not that easy to distinguish from Night of Navy, but Balmy Blue, Cajun Craze, Cherry Cobbler, Coastal Cabana. That's the one that's missing. Coastal Cabana. So Coastal Cabana. Then we've got Gorgeous Grape, Flirty Flamingo, Granny Apple Green, Crushed Curry, Night of Navy, and Garden Green. So that's the number 2 collection, and they are just £11.75 in the annual catalogue. And I would recommend adding a set of blender pens. You get 3 in a pack because they do help move the ink around, and I will show you how that works. So, Memento ink, stamp on, this is on a D block. I'm just simply going to ink up my stamp, and I tend to twist the ink and then go back and stamp to get the best coverage. Now it won't stamp really, really, really dark on this because it's a coated cardstock, but it's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So stamp down, hold it for a reasonable length of time, because that way you're actually going to give the ink a chance to transfer to the note card. And there we are. So as I say, it's not black, black, black. If you want real black, then you would need to use StazOn. So just bear that in mind, but then you have the joy of cleaning up your StazOn ink, which can be a little tricky. Now, while I've got it out, I'm going to stamp my envelope as well. And I very carefully put a piece of scrap paper aside, and now I can't find it. So I'm going to ink up my stamp again, and I'm only really going to worry about the bit that says happy birthday, because that's the only bit that I'm really going to use. And I'm going to, because they've got the labels that you can now attach very successfully to your stamp, you can sort of see where you're or what you're stamping. So I want the happy birthday, but not the cakes. So I can see through, and there we are. We've got the happy birthday without the cakes, and I've managed to smudge it, but you'll get the idea. You get the idea, and it literally was, I smudged it because I'm silly that way. So there we go. I may be able to take that out, possibly, or maybe not, because it's a coated paper. These are white on the inside. Because it's coated that way, I may not be able to take it out, but we'll see. Anyway, let's go back to this. I'm going to use slightly different colourway. I'm going to use the same basic colours, but switch some of them around a bit. I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape, Flirty Flamingo, Cajun Craze, and Balmy Blue. And on the original, I used Flirty Flamingo on the icing and Gorgeous Grape here, but I'm going to actually switch that round just because I can. So we're just going to go in with our watercolour pencil and lay down some of the colour. And I do quite like a circular motion. I'm not going to worry that I'm going over the sprinkles, because the sprinkles are just going to be a darker version of the Gorgeous Grape. So circular motion I like because it gives you a softer line. If you use straight lines, you can end up with a hard line. So I do like my circular motion. It's also worth keeping the points reasonably sharp. The colour seems to want to transfer better when it's a sharp point rather than a dull point. And then I'm going to come in and add some Flirty Flamingo to the cupcake base. And again, using a circular motion. And then some Balmy Blue, this I'm going to do in long circular motions, just over the flag. And I don't want to go mad with the Balmy Blue. Now, obviously the pink card is going to influence the final colour, but this is really just so that there's a bit of colour. And then Cajun Craze I am going to put down quite heavily because I want the little sticks to be very obviously brown. Right, okay, let me grab my piece of scrap paper. It's always worth keeping a piece of scrap paper around when you're doing blender pen work, because then you can check that your blender pen is clean. So I'm going to do the bottom first. Now, try not to rub the black ink too much. It can mean that you smudge it. Once it's dry, it is basically waterproof. So what it says on the back of the ink pad is it's water-based, fast-drying, fade-resistant, acid-free, dries quickly on most papers. When dry, stamped impressions are water-resistant. It doesn't say waterproof, it says water-resistant. So do just bear that in mind. So I've cleaned my pen, and then I can come in and spread the gorgeous grape, and you can see that it really activates the colour and it turns it a much deeper shade, which is why you don't need too much. I'm avoiding the little sprinkles at the moment because we're going to add a bit more colour to those in a moment. So, well, here it is. I'm filming this ahead of time, and can I just say, it's August, it's the UK, so we're supposed to be in the height of summer, and it's piddling with rain. It's a horrible day. I'm freezing cold. I've put socks and shoes back on, or shoes and socks back on. I've got a jumper on, well, at least a long sleeve top. It's just horrible, and I don't like it. I want my summer back. I've not really had much of a summer this year. We had really nice hot Easter, and a really hot couple of days earlier in the month. Oh, actually no, it was the back end of last month when it was ridiculously hot, and we broke records for the hottest day on record, and now it's piddling with rain, which is just not fair, really. Okay, so gorgeous grape again. I'm just going to come in and add some more of that to the sprinkles. Now obviously you could do the sprinkles a completely different colour, but I just thought it would be fun to have the same colour, just a deeper shade. And those I'm not going to use the blender pen on any more than I'm going to use them on the Cajun Craze. So scribble off, put your top on. I always scribble off at the beginning, at the end, and always scribble off at the beginning. That way I know that everything's all right. Now, somewhere I have got my lovely sand, there it is, sand eraser. I think it's probably going to take off the coating as well as the ink, but I'm going to give it a very quick go, just in case. No, it's going to take the coating off as well, but you get the idea. I managed it all right on that one. I didn't smudge. Comes of smudging. It's because I'm talking to you. So we just fold that. Always recommend getting a bone folder. They're not expensive, and if you get a really good bone folder, it will last you forever. And then we can fold down our envelope, and again it's quite nice to give that a burnish as well. And there is our little card. So this was the one that I did before with the Flirty Flamingo, which I then had the gorgeous grape sprinkles on, and I just thought I'd change it up a bit. So that is our beginner or quick card. Then I've stepped it up a wee bit, and this is where I say I think this is pretty close to Blushing Bride. So a Blushing Bride card base. I've added some of the striped, and I now of course can't find it, these mini striped, here we go, ribbon, and this is in Gorgeous Grape. So I've added that at the bottom, and part of my reason for that is because with vellum you do need to hide where you put your adhesive. So I've stuck adhesive behind the ribbon, as well as behind the sentiment or the image. And the image I have heat embossed and then coloured with blends, and I'll show you the blends in a moment. And then I've flagged the end with the tag topper, triple banner punch, not tag topper, triple banner punch. So I heat embossed this in black, used blends. You do have to be a little careful when you're using blends and the black heat embossing, because it will try and bleed a little bit, so do be a bit careful with that. So let's say this is vellum, and I've just stuck adhesive behind here and behind here, and this I've stuck down just with a couple of little pieces of tear and tape. And then for the more advanced version I've introduced a die cut, because this is a punch, this is die cutting, so we've got the stitched shapes, and I've got the largest circle, and then the lace embossing folder, and again I've put adhesive behind the topper and behind here so that it keeps it in place. So there we are. that is our Simple Stamping Saturday. I hope you enjoyed that. Do remember we've still got extra going on. So if you're thinking of joining Stamping Up and my team, if you're in the UK, France, Germany, Austria or the Netherlands, do please take advantage of that while we've still got it around. We don't have long. We've only got another 2 weeks before extra goes, and it is a fantastic offer, and you get to order from the autumn winter catalogue if you wish as well. So link to photos and all that good stuff is below. There's a link to my blog post, so it's the associated blog post, so have a look at that. There's no dimensions because we're concentrating on this project which has no dimensions, and I'll list all the items I've used in the order in which I've introduced them to the projects. So we'll start with that. We'll add heat embossing and vellum, and then we'll add die cuts and embossing folders. Thank you very much indeed for watching. If you've got any questions, please ask them in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to subscribe, there's a subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner, and if you hit the notification bell as well, you will get notified of when my posts go live. Thank you very much indeed, and I'll see you soon. Bye!